100 years of Oxford. Actually, it started in 1920, but COVID didn't allow us to celebrate on this scale. And today is also very special because somebody who said that in life, relationships are important, but it's even more important for those relationships to have life. Shami Vivekananda, it's his anniversary on 60th today. And I just wanted to say that Oxford is about relationships, long term, abiding, and very special. People have grown up with Oxford, most of us here, all about books, all that we love about books probably evolved there in Oxford. So it's wonderful to be here with all of you. We have the theme song now. Could we have the theme song, please? Just 1 minute while we get this going. We have a very special lineup for you this evening. Song just as yet. They'll put it online later. Could we have the Dhakis, please? Oxford is an intrinsic part of Calcutta, and the Dhakis, their sound is something that is so truly Calcuttan. Welcome, Johorda. Why you can? Okay, now for the unveiling of that 100-year Oxford Bookstore logo. Thank you so much, all of you. I'm going to ask you to take your seats for now while we invite Preeti to address us virtually.
Welcome to the 14th edition of APEEJay Kolkata Literary Festival. Today begins the 4-day literary extravaganza that celebrates the written word and promises to bring to you the best in fiction, translations, poetry, cinema, history, mental health, mythology, gastronomy, dance, art, and culture. We also have our dedicated Children's Literature Festival, Oxford Junior, for young lovers of books and reading. I take this opportunity today to welcome all the participating authors, thinkers, and delegates to Calcutta, a city of literature and a city of joy, a city where I grew up reading and loving books. Today begins our joyous celebration of books and the reader on the occasion, the historic occasion of the 100 years of Oxford Bookstore. We have been handicapped from celebrating 100 years because of the pandemic, but we are happy to see that we are bigger, better, stronger, and able to celebrate 100 years of Oxford in a year where we are seeing people coming back to bookstores in droves and enjoying reading with physical books. And so that's very heartening, and I think all this stems from the fact that in Calcutta people do love books, and they do know that bookstores are an intrinsic part of the city and part of the cultural landscape, and they want to support, they want to build, they want to talk, they want to touch books, they want to ideate with people, they want to have encounters with books. And I'm so happy that we're bringing back the festival in its physical form and a full-on celebration for 100 years of bookstore with AKLF 14. And it's just a wonderful reawakening and a re-awakening for the city. We hope you enjoy the wide range of subjects and authors from international icons, award winners like Alice Walker and Jeffrey Archer, to filmmakers Oneer and Muzaffar Ali, poet G. Tahir, journalist, author and columnist V. Sangvi and one of Calcutta's own, author Shobha De, dancer Malika Sarabhai, author Shobha Tharoor, and actor Divya Datta and Arundev Singh, author Enjoy Datta, super popular, journalist and columnist Dakshi Kakaria, again one of Calcutta's own, and our amazing translator Arunava Sinha. One of the areas that Oxford is paying particular attention to support writing in its original form, translations. We have a strong program, even with the French, delegation in India. We are translating 10 books from the French to Indian languages. Author Anuja Chauhan, social activist and writer Saida Hamid, chef and author Karen Anand, French dancer and choreographer Annette Lide, and German writer Christopher Cobel, Australian author John Kobrinski, and among 100 plus prestigious speakers, authors, and humanitarians from diverse fields will participate this year in the festival. So the festival is face-to-face and, and the lawns of Park Mansions, but it's also beamed to our community across the world, and that's what makes it a really strong offering. And we're really happy to be able to present it in this form in our 14th edition. And before I sign off, I would like to thank our partners, supporting cultural institutions, enthusiastic volunteers, and all the amazing people that we have working at Oxford Bookstore who are dedicated to the craft and the art of reading and of selling books. Each one of you make AKLF special. And lastly, I would like to thank this amazing audience that we have in Calcutta. Each one of you, by loving books, buying books, reading books, really helped to make this festival special, and we're really pleased to bring this festival back in its original form to the City of Joy, to the City of Books, and present an offering kicking off today. Thank you.
Thank you, Preeti. You've long been the wind beneath AKLF's wings. And now I'd like to invite Anjum Katiyal, Director, AKLF, to address the audience.
Thank you very much, Indrila. "160 years ago today was born one of our most progressive and enlightened thinkers and scholars, Swami Vivekananda. I cannot think of a better day on which to inaugurate this festival of writers and thinkers and ideas than the 12th of January. He brought in new streams of thought to the understanding of religion, and his guru, Ramakrishna, propagated the belief, Joto Mot, Toto Pot. As many beliefs as there are as many paths to follow to reach those beliefs. Or to put it in today's terms, to each his own. I welcome you all to AKLF with a sense of hope and faith. In this 14th edition, AKLF, a festival of books, writers and ideas, I see it as a space of hope for a more inclusive society, a space of faith in humanity's ability to connect as human beings. Reading connects us across the world, across class and color and religion, across history and geography, across time and space. Reading shows us how we can be human. In celebrating 100 years of Oxford Bookstore, this is exactly what we celebrate at AKLF this year. The human connection in its infinite variety. A good bookstore is a treasure trove, inviting you to explore, learn, change, and grow as a person. In celebrating 100 years of Oxford Bookstore, AKLF also celebrates the infinite and inclusive world of a true bookstore, which makes space on its shelves and in its heart for debate, dissent, contrasting points of view, which welcomes writers of every race, caste, and creed. No subject is too heavy or too light, too popular, too obscure for the bookstore. The timeless, the topical, the profound, the profane, all coexist side by side on its shelves. AKLF reflects this wide range of interests in its programming. This year, we cover everything from historical fiction to mental health to gender, street food, lifestyle, mystery, cinema, whodunits. Come and savor the variety on offer. Come and listen to writers talk about their own lives and the lives of others, about all that unites us as human beings. I hope that as we stand poised on the next few days, right up to Sunday, we will see you attending the festival, picking and choosing, and hopefully choosing more sessions than not to attend. And I look forward to being here and welcoming all of you every single day. With the unveiling of the 100 years of the Oxford Bookstore logo, this festival was declared open, and I now invite the anchor to invite Mela Bhagat to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Anjum. And Maina, I think she needs a mic down there. In a speech. And yes, books bring us together. Books cut across divides of all kinds. But what is really important is that books teach us why it is important to understand that we are one, irrespective of color, caste, creed, everything. And reading is something that can open our minds in the way no didactic teaching or lecturing can. So that's a really good reason to get children to read from an early age, to broaden your horizons and understand. Thank you so much. We'll be having our first session, so to speak, of the evening at 4:30. So till then, 4:30. Where? It is 4:30. It doesn't show it here. Okay. So in that case, while you set up, why don't I introduce the speakers? You want to set up? Set up the stage? Yeah? Okay. The session now is going to be called Much More Than a Bookstore. A stroll down memory lane by leading Kolkata cultural figures as they share their relationships with the heritage Oxford bookstore. With Dhritima Chatterjee, Shubha Prasanna, Johar Sarkar, Shugata Bose, Anita Agnihotri, and Barry O'Brien. Dhritima Chatterjee is an Indian actor. He began his acting career as the protagonist in Satyajit Ray's Pratidwandi. He's worked mostly in parallel or independent cinema and also in English films. Doesn't say so here, but he's had a long stint in advertising. Shubha Prasanna Bhattacharjee is a renowned Indian artist born in Kolkata in 1947. His work has been exhibited extensively in India and internationally in the United States, Bangladesh, Singapore, France, Switzerland, Germany. He's won a number of awards. You need to set up. Yeah, it's okay. Set up while I'm speaking. Johar Sarkar has served as an Indian Administrative Service Officer for 41 years. Currently, he is a Member of Parliament of India who represents the state of West Bengal. He has published numerous articles and research papers on cultural, historical, and anthropological subjects for several years. Shugata Bose is one of the foremost historians of modern South Asia and a former member of India's Parliament. He is the Gardner Professor of Oceanic History and Affairs at Harvard University. Bose's many books include 100 Horizons, His Majesty's Opponent, The Nation as a Mother, and Other Visions of Nationhood. Anita Agnihotri was born in Kolkata. She joined the Indian Administrative Service in 1980 and retired after 3.5 decades as a secretary to the Government of India. She has published over 30 books, and her literary work spans poetry, novels, short stories, writing for children, critiques of development. She has won numerous literary awards in Bengal, including the Sharad Purushkar, the Pratibha Basu, Sahitya Purushkar, Bhuban Mohini Dasi Gold Medal from the University of Kolkata. Her writing has been translated into several Indian languages and also German and Swedish. Barry O'Brien began his work for the Anglo-Indian community at the grassroots level. He was nominated to represent it in the West Bengal Legislative Assembly 2006 to 11. Since 2001, he has been a governing body member of the All India Anglo-Indian Association founded in 1876 and its president-in-chief since 2016. His writing canvas has been wide. As a sports journalist for Sports World, a social commentator and columnist for The Pioneer and The Telegraph, and a pioneering author of school textbooks for leading publishers, and now as the author of The Anglo-Indians, a portrait of a community. All this between conducting quizzes, public speaking courses, and motivational sessions in India and overseas. That's going to be the session, much more than a bookstore. Could we request the speakers to come up, please? Shuvada, Jawarda, Shundur, Shugatuda. Barry, where are you? Anita. With. Okay, Barry. It's okay. Youth before age. Barry.
Namaskar, good afternoon. I am the youngest, or rather the junior most on the stage. Firstly, it's a privilege to be here. And before I go any further, I think at least for the last 30-40 years, the strength of the Oxford bookstore has been, the pillars have been the women, starting with Mrs. Bhagat, Preeti, Anjum. Let's give them a round of applause. I think it's very woman-dominated, and that's why it's so rich and gentle. It's a privilege to be here. I think my first comment would be that the Oxford, some people call it bookstore, some people could just call it Oxford on Park Street. Somehow it manages to bring together people who matter, people who know. Just take a look at Karakara Boshe Achin stage. I mean, if you really have a panel of 100 people searching for the right people to be here, you would get all these wonderful people. People who matter, not because of their achievements, not because of who they are, but people who matter because they have matter. They have depth. And I think my first thought is that this bookstore, it's been through many ups and downs. I'm sure if you go through profits and losses for years and years, you'd see a lot of red marks over there because people didn't keep reading books and they went on and on. Friends, we live in an era of fast food, fast chains, fast everything, fast track. When Denise and I got married, I told my father-in-law, shouldn't have, 5 বছর যদি আমরা লাস্ট করি 25 বছর অ্যানিভার্সারি পার্টি দেব, because nothing lasts. For a bookstore to last 100 years is quite an incredible achievement. And I will share with you why I think it has lasted. we also sell books. I think would have been a nice way of describing it. A lot of advertising gurus over here, because many people came to it. I don't know if they still come to it for that reason, for reasons other than books, and get stuck onto books. I'll share with you 2 or 3 quick ones of mine. The first time, my first memory is, I must have come there before that, but we were doing a play called Charlie's Aunt in school. Godrich Engineer, if you remember him, he was the director, and we were all boys in St. Xavier's. There were no St. Xavier's Collegiate School, there were no girls. But there were many girl roles. Mr. Engineer would choose a play with many girls for some reason. And I was playing this man who would pretend to be the girl, Charlie's aunt, to pretend. So we had 3 girls, not 3 girls, 3 or 4 boys who loved being girls. And Mr. Engineer told me, Barry, could you, because you're going to come last one for makeup, could you take these 4 girls down to Blue Heaven? Blue Heaven, I think, was just across the road. So I said, so for what? He said, no, they've got to wear their switches and their wigs, etc. I said, and then? He said, and then you walk back with them on Park Street. When you were told to do something, like the boss told me, you've got to start, so I had to listen to him. So I said, okay, I got the money, and he said, whatever's left over, you can, you can keep it. So that was enough incentive for me. So when I got the money and came down in Blue Heaven, and the teacher said, Barry, you don't wait outside, it's not safe. You go to Oxford across the road. There was I in Oxford, pacing up and down, no intention to buy anything. I told uncle, I can't remember his name, but there was an elderly gentleman over there. Mr. Bachani or this? Motwani. I didn't know his name then. Those days we didn't bother to ask uncles their names, just called him uncle. And he said, what are you doing here? I said, no, I'm not come to buy any books. He said, that's fine, you can look around. It's that spirit. I didn't have any chola bags. I don't think there were chola bags those days where people would be worried about books going in. So that is my you finish up in one go or finish up? Yeah, okay. So that is my memory of this openness of the doors never being shut, the doors and the windows and the heart and the mind never being shut. That was my first memory. Finally, we actually walked down. My friend INAUGURATION, may his soul rest in peace, brilliant actress. He and the others walked down with all their what have you on, and there was I on the opposite side. Anyway, the other memory is a rather personal one. The year I was born, my father joined Oxford University Press from Orient Longman. And from the time I was a kid, I remember him saying, when people would say, you're the assistant manager of Oxford, or the manager, or the branch manager, or the general managers kept going up, Oxford, and he would say, yeah, but not the one on Park Street. Meaning the Oxford University Press of 400 or 500 years ago. I think my father, if he was around today, wouldn't have, I think, bothered too much if people thought he was the general manager of the Oxford on Park Street. A lot has changed, and this was about 60 years ago. So I think that is something that even he would have taken pride of saying that he belonged to Oxford Park Street. And my last memory was, I won't tell you her name, but there was a girl and I, and we couldn't afford to meet anywhere else on Park Street except outside India Hobby Centre and maybe share a nice screen. But once again, we would say, we're meeting where? At Oxford. We would go in, we'd pretend to be looking at books. Sometimes we were caught not really looking at the book because because we weren't paying attention to the book. But it gave me one of my first romantic experiences. So I would remember Oxford as a child, Oxford as the son of my father who said that, and as a person who went into or introduced himself into a bit of romance. But on a serious note, these are all serious things because when you come in there, the smell of books, etc., that kept you going. And my last memory is whenever you didn't get anything anywhere, people would say, go to Oxford, you'll get it there. You know, my soft-spoken friend, you may have heard of him, Suhail Seth, a soft-spoken bloke. He and I used to do plays, all sorts of plays, really badly also, some not bad. He came and told me, you're going to do that on 26th December 1946, her 16th birthday, she was brought by her father to Oxford on Park Street to buy books. On that occasion, she chose Cecil Beaton's book of photographs and the translations into English of the short stories of Munshi Premchand. My own memories of Oxford go back to the 1960s, and I too would come to this bookstore mostly with my maternal grandfather, Charuchandra Chaudhary. There was a children's section in the back, but I rarely went there. My grandfather was a subscriber to the Times Literary Supplement. Sometimes it would not